For as long as I can remember playing Gran Turismo, I've always wondered if there was a way to give a car more gears, enough to fully utilize the gear counter. After all, the gear counter can display up to 9 gears. I've always wanted to see that number 9 pop up on screen. In GT4, most cars are only capable of 6, a small amount are capable of 7, and an even smaller portion of that is capable of 8. But no single car in the entire game is capable of 9. And so that number 9 on the gear counter remained hidden in the game's code, never to be seen. That is, until one fateful day. Admittedly, it's a bit of a silly idea, but when I saw this, something happened. I was reminded of countless other things I had always wanted to do if modding ever became possible. After this, I started messing around with the game some more and figured out how to do another thing. And then another, and well, you get the point. I was hooked. What started as a fascinating little thing to tinker with from time to time quickly transformed into complete and utter obsession, sending me spiraling into a rabbit hole bigger than I ever could have imagined. But I wasn't just obsessed. I was determined, and I had something to prove. I knew I was destined to make something great. And so, I challenged myself and committed to making my ideal version of Gran Turismo 4 a reality. The first thing I'll show off is what I've done to the game's physics with a side-by-side comparison. I decided to go for a grippier handling model that encourages the player to drive more aggressively. My approach to this was to keep it very similar to the original handling model, but remove the aspects that made it frustrating. Physics and tire grip are not the only things that can be changed to improve the driving dynamics. In the original game, a vast majority of cars shifted gears incredibly slowly. This always bothered me and was one of the first things I investigated. This behavior is due to the game handling gear shifts in a somewhat strange fashion. In GT1 through GT4, a car's shifting speed is dictated by how quickly the revs fall, which is directly tied to its flywheel parameters, with no way to slip the clutch before the revs meet the new RPM for the next gear. Most production cars have heavy flywheels, which make their engines rev up slowly. Naturally, this makes the revs fall slower as well, which makes casual driving easier in real life. In GT4, it seems that Polyphony decided to prioritize making the revs rise and fall in a way that feels accurate to real life. However, due to the way the game handles shifting, this accuracy to revving creates another issue entirely, which is the infamous slow shifting speed, much slower than what could easily be performed in real life. In any case, Polyphony did not implement the flywheel parameters very well anyway, since many types of cars have wildly inconsistent flywheel parameters even within the same class of car. With the Retuned mod, every car has updated flywheel parameters that provide a shifting speed that feels natural and brisk, at the cost of the accuracy to revving speed in neutral, which is rather minor. there's still a lot that can be done to improve the player's racing experience outside of the driving dynamics. With the retuned mod, events will feature new opponent cars to race against where applicable. Not only that, but the AI will be properly competitive and provide a good challenge, but isn't overly difficult. The retuned mod will still allow the player to adjust the game's difficulty by buying upgrades, but now the difficulty level is reasonable and consistent, unlike the original where the difficulty varies wildly, even between races within the same event. Here's a couple races that demonstrate the retuned mod's intended difficulty. The change that wound up being the most fun was adding 6 cars into rally events. This made rally races feel a lot less empty, and when paired with some difficulty tweaks to the AI, and removing the 5-second penalty, it created something completely different from the original. This mod doesn't just change things though, it also adds a little bit of content. In the Retuned mod, most of the cars that were region exclusive make an appearance here. As of now, the following cars have been implemented into the mod. 4 fully unique cars, 4 cars with slightly different liveries, and 4 cars with different names. In the future, more may be added. That's right, that's an engine swap. But it's not just one being added into the mod, or even 10, or even 30. In this video, you'll see 6 out of over 60 unique engine swap variants being added in. This is the mod's most exclusive feature, providing a new incentive to keep playing. To elaborate, these are entirely separate entities with their own set of upgrade parts, and are not simple hybrids. They also feature custom ride height and custom wheel sizes to give them a sportier look than their original counterparts. Event regulations will also account for them accordingly. Now, let's see some in action. As the name suggests, the retuned mod also adds some new tuning options. Every car now has an all-wheel drive conversion available for purchase. With this, you can give any car the advantages of all-wheel drive, and event regulations will acknowledge this upgrade as well. Not only that, but the variable center slider has been expanded to the full range of 0 and 100%. Although this cannot replicate full front drive and rear drive behavior when setting it to 0 or 100. To go along with the new all-wheel drive swap, all cars now have rally tires available for purchase for a mere 5,000 credits. With the combination of all-wheel drive swap and rally tires, any car can be converted into an all-wheel drive rally machine. What you're about to see is a full 6-car rally race consisting of 6 JGTC race cars, and all of them are equipped with all-wheel drive swaps and rally tires. The transmission upgrades have also been reworked, now sporting a modification to the car's original gearbox, which replaces the original gears with a new close ratio gear set. It's cheap, but has its limitations. To demonstrate its effectiveness, let's set a lap time with a stock gearbox. Now we'll run another lap. This time the car is starting at a speed disadvantage, but with the close gear set equipped. As you can see, the closer gears provide improved acceleration, enough to offset the disadvantage and beat the Ghost. It does come with some potential disadvantages though. The first gear becomes longer, which can hinder acceleration when launching, and the top speed is reduced. The next step up is the familiar 6-speed fully customizable gearbox. The highest upgrade is a 9-speed dual-clutch transmission, complete with seamless shifting, super close gear spacing, and an adjustable final drive. We'll run one more lap. Again, the car is at a speed disadvantage, but now using the 9-speed. The combination of seamless shifting and super close gears provides a significant improvement to acceleration. The 9-speed is the ultimate transmission upgrade. One of the more interesting tuning options in the Retuned mod is the addition of the active yaw control system, now available to purchase for any car. With this, you can rotate the car very easily and power slide around corners. This has been combined with its tuning slider being expanded to 250. Maxing this slider will unlock the full force of the active yaw control system, allowing any car to drift incredibly easily. To engage the active yaw control, simply lift off the throttle and steer carefully. With a gamepad, the steering is dampened, so performing drift techniques can be challenging. However, a gamepad is advantageous when using active yaw control for grip driving and performing mild drifts. For aggressive drifting, this works best with a wheel. You may have been wondering how those cars had so much horsepower. Well, that's where the Retuned mod's most exciting upgrade comes into play. Every car now has an all-new Stage 5 turbo upgrade available for purchase. This provides an extreme power increase, more than any other upgrade by far. It's very expensive, but it packs a punch. The amount of power provided by this upgrade depends on the car and what engine is in it. If you apply this upgrade to a car with a very strong engine, such as a Nissan Skyline with an RB26, it can provide enough power to outrun even the fastest Group C race cars and Le Mans prototypes. The last major change to tuning available to the player is the expansion of certain tuning sliders. Nitrous can be set to 250 for an extreme boost in power, but the nitrous will deplete rapidly. This can still be very overpowered, so it is also more expensive to buy. Suspension ride height and camber sliders have been expanded, allowing for a wider range. The LSD sliders have been expanded to a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 120 for the few situations where this may be beneficial. Spoilers from GT Auto now have different downforce offsets depending on which style you buy. The most aggressive spoiler can add a maximum of 42 downforce on each side. As shown previously, the active yaw control and variable center differential sliders have been expanded. An overhaul to GT4's career mode wouldn't be complete without rebalancing what I like to call the in-game economy. This includes all things money-related, such as event credit payouts, the values of cars, and the cost of upgrades. The Retuned mod will feature a rebalanced economy that has better pacing when it comes to the player's progression. One restriction that has been removed is that now all cars that were not for sale in the dealerships will now be buyable. This was necessary to make room for the new engine swaps mentioned previously. As of now, these things aren't finalized, so they will be shown off at a later time. As we all know, the license tests and driving missions are infamous for being frustrating. With the Retuned mod, this will no longer be the case. The license tests have been changed, having different cars assigned to each one. The cars chosen are generally more enjoyable to drive, and the time limits for each test have been tweaked to be easier overall. The focus with this mod is the main career itself, so it was important to make the licenses easier to complete and more enjoyable to play. The appearance of the infamous pace car will also be changed. As of now, I haven't decided exactly how the pace car will be changed, so this will be shown off at a later time. The driving missions will also be changed, but this has not been implemented yet. One change that will be implemented is the removal of the delayed grid starts, replacing them with grid starts that begin immediately, with the opponents already in a further position on the track. More changes will be made beyond this, but I have not decided on exactly what else will be changed yet, so these changes will be shown at a later time. The last major change coming to the Retuned mod is the correction of many mistakes and inaccuracies in car data. This includes correcting mistakes such as broken final drive gear ratios, and correcting inaccurate engine data, such as Group C and LMP engines. In the original, these were all overpowered, and these engine corrections make them weaker. I'm aware that this would be disappointing to some, so the mod will also introduce power upgrades that give the player the ability to restore the power present in the original.